Alright guys, welcome back. This is update time. This is I think at this point with these updates, probably make these just like a bi-weekly or maybe even a monthly kind of check-in. Because at this point everything has just been, same story, just weekly by weekly. Um, Everything's just going great. Like I can't say enough good things about this change that I've made to my this journey to making my quality of life better. Definitely the best decision I ever made. Like I can't stop smiling. I can't be happier with the decision that I made to get this whole thing taken care of. Another thing that I want to kind of address, because this question was asked to me recently in my Instagram inbox, and I think I've touched on this before, but if I could change my answer, I definitely would. So to modify this question with my answer that I've answered previously for you guys in a Q&A, somebody asked me if you could go back in time and make any changes, would you do that? And as far as like the situation that I'm in right now with having to take the testosterone and the thyroid medication and like the vitamin D and some of these other things that I got to do now just to balance out my hormones because of what I did to myself from the years of competing, especially drug free. I mean, every contest that I ended up going through, the 6 different shows, and then I dieted like another 5 times on top of that and backed out, like chickened out with like 2 or 3 of those contests that I just wasn't ready for with posing and everything like that. Just wanted to make sure I was on my A game before I jumped on stage. But along the way too, there's been a couple other shows that I just backed out of. I just, you know, um, things come up in life, and you got to kind of just take a back seat for a while, and then you'll come back and try again. But all these different roller coasters of getting super lean and then putting the weight back on, I really did a number on my hormones. And like if I could change anything, yeah, I think I've addressed this too in one of the descriptions on one of these HRT updates for you guys. It was maybe in the second video or something. I can't quite remember, but that's definitely a change that I would have made. If I would have known that I would end up in this boat that I'm in today, where I have to take my shots and I have to take this thyroid medication and just do these other things, and especially feeling like the way I have been for the past couple of years, and then things just got progressively worse, I would have went back and I probably would have never competed. Being 100% honest about that. I mean, you read um, other people's, like you come across this information, when you're out there looking at bodybuilding information, or you're following people that you are inspired by and you look up to, in the natural bodybuilding world or even the unnatural bodybuilding world, these people that you look up to for their work ethic and just how they adapt and overcome things, and it really motivates you to keep going and assess your situation. Say that um, other people might have it way worse than I do, and my excuse is, oh, I can't eat like an extra 50 grams of carbs these next few days. Like that's very very minuscule compared to some of the other challenges and obstacles that other people out there have, whether they're competing or not. So it's like those things kind of put things into perspective. But um, as far as like some of the instances that I've come across with other people where they have dieted one time, did one contest, and they ruin their hormones for life after that. And then other people, you'll see them. They've competed, 20 years, 10 years, whatever it is, and they can go back and forth, back to back, show to show, and be perfectly fine. And I was always kind of aware in the back of my head that shit did exist, and that was a possibility that could be, me or anybody else. But you think differently back then when you're younger, and you just have these goals that you want to accomplish, and not only for yourself, but you want to prove to other people what can be done, without ever going down that pathway. And yeah, I mean, now that I'm in that seat, it really puts things into perspective and really makes you realize, holy shit, man, I am only human. I'm not invincible like I felt like I was, and deep down I thought I was all these years. So it's like, if to answer that question, I can't remember exactly who inboxed me. I'd have to go back. I mean, my inboxes get flooded with all kinds of messages, and I appreciate it, but I can't get to everybody. It's just I got a life. I got shit I got to do, so I can't answer everybody's questions and comments and all that. But that one, I definitely wanted to touch on in this next update for you guys. Yeah, if I were to go back and fix something. That would be my correction right there. If I knew that it was going to land me in this boat that I'm in today, where I gotta be on HRT for God knows how long, that would have been my change right there. If I would have known that, I would have never competed. I would have just, continue to train, continue to eat properly, and just do it as fun, do it as a hobby, like I currently do now. I mean, this is a lifestyle too. I mean, I've been doing this shit since I was 14, 15 years old. It all started with, I started hanging out with like kind of the wrong crowd, and I wanted to get away from that. It was just one day, I completely changed everything. I got sick of like the way I was looking, the way I was feeling. Obviously, the people that I was hanging around were up to no good, and I didn't want to go down that path. I mean, the way I was raised and everything, I was raised properly. Unfortunately, not everybody, especially nowadays, the way that this generation's coming up, not everybody is raised correctly. I mean, that's why shit's out of control out there with a lot of people that you hear about, or in the past with other kinds of kids. But I was raised properly. I was raised to respect other people, and treat other people the way that I would want to be treated. And the people that I was hanging around with back then, when I was growing up, they were definitely not cut from that same cloth, just getting into trouble. And I felt like I was being pulled in that direction. And to break free, I went on my own, and I started doing push-ups and sit-ups in my room. I'd be jamming like my Cryptopsy on my boombox. My Whisper Supremacy got me through a lot of shit. It pretty much it set the tone for me getting to like where I am today, and all these years. Like that album, that was my push-up and sit-up album. I think I was playing. I had a couple other CDs that I had in that rotation that really got me going. I'm sure one of the Cannibal Corpse albums was on there too. Probably at that time, Gallery of Suicide. That was another one I was listening to a lot. And then I think Suffocation's Despise the Sun was in there too. I'd always be listening to that shit, and it really got me pumped up. And I would knock out all these. I'd do 500 push-ups and sit-ups every night. Right before I went to bed, and just be covered in sweat and all that shit. But as I started to see those changes take place, that pretty much totally set the tone for what was to come in the future. It's like all my hobbies, whenever I get really, really into them and I put a lot of heart into them, like when I'm really, really like geeked about it, I go all in completely. It's not, I don't just do, okay or just half-ass. I never half-ass anything, and I don't think anybody should ever half-ass anything, really. I mean, that's just a stupid way of thinking. But I mean, I wanted to put that into like bodybuilding. Like all of a sudden the bodybuilding kind of took off, where I started training with somebody after school. They kind of showed me the basic fundamentals on, like your chest training on the bench, and learning how to squat, learning how to do the shoulder presses, the curls, all that kind of stuff. So that really right there, that first workout I had with my buddy after school, that I got hooked, and I never put a barbell or a dumbbell down ever since. I mean, all the way up until last year, which was January of 2020. That was the first time ever I even took any time off, because at that point it had been almost 23 years that I had been training without ever taking a break. It's been consistent, hard ass, bust my ass, put full 100% heart and dedication into it all the way up to that point. And my body was just telling me, dude, you've been doing this so many years, you gotta give yourself a break. You're gonna break me in half if you keep going. And finally I gave myself that rest, and on that month off, I remember feeling just amazing. Like all that the joint pain, the muscle pain, the stuff that I had just completely dissipated. And then when I came back, I was able to train for like another month before they closed everything down for a while. And then that was another dark period of my life too. And then when I was able to pick those pieces back up when the gym started to open in my area, right into like the beginning of June, that was mentally comforting. But still, I mean, cloudy, foggy brain, the fatigue, all that stuff I talked about with you guys in the previous videos, I still had that present there. So I never quite felt the same before doing all these shows. So again, that would have been my change right there, just to train, do bodybuilding as a lifestyle and a hobby, and leave it at that. Knowing what I know now about the boat that I'm in. So Yeah, I just wanted to clarify and answer that question for you guys. Some of you guys, some couple of you other people out there might have had the same question, and yeah, I'm hoping I was able to answer that for you guys. And then I could go on to a whole nother discussion, which I've done before, but I could always, that was a couple of years ago when I did that in my Q&A. I could always come back and put a fresh coat of paint on these questions that you guys have asked. The one especially pertaining to how I got into metal and all that kind of stuff. I could definitely go into that one too, because I share kind of the same story that a lot of other people do with, like, not only getting into metal but also getting into this lifestyle of working out, and just the aggressive nature that I put into with bodybuilding and basically everything that I do. When I do it, I go 100% all in. That's the way it should be. But I hope you guys enjoyed this update and my rant about what I just talked about. And if you guys like the video, that right there always helps me out. I'll leave you guys with some metal horns, and I'll talk to you guys soon. You guys take care. More shit to come, by the way. See you guys.